We know technology will continue to transform our lives in 2017, but which innovations and products will dominate the year? Joining us with insight is Zeitguide CEO Brad Grossman, who helps companies understand and navigate the tech trends of the future. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
I want to start with a news story that sort of epitomizes this ongoing debate about privacy. Okay. Investigators in Arkansas want to use Amazon Echo data in a murder trial. Amazon is pushing back, saying we don't respond to these overbroad requests. How do you think that this debate between tech companies and the government and privacy in general will play out in 2017? Is this the tip of the iceberg, or do you foresee major actions taken?
I think there's going to be major actions taken, especially with the president-elect who's already spoken about technology and the pitfalls and the challenges with it. And we also saw in the past year about the Apple situation and trying to break into to the phone. And that's the thing. I mean, these companies have more data than anyone. And you know, what they're going to do with it is going to be a major concern, not just for the government, but also, you know, for consumers. And as more people start to get hacked, and we saw the problem of hacking in the last election, presidential election, it's definitely going to continue in terms of conversations and problematizing everyone's businesses.
Right, and you mentioned President-elect Donald Trump. He recently held a meeting with tech leaders at Trump Tower.
Yes.
Everyone said it was a cordial meeting, but he was not a fan of Silicon Valley, nor was Silicon Valley a fan of him throughout the campaign. How do you see this administration—
Except for Peter Thiel.
Except for Peter Thiel, right, we should say, who is a huge advocate and an advisor. How do you see this Trump administration impacting technology and also driving major issues like net neutrality, encryption, which we just touched on a little bit? How will they influence Silicon Valley?
Well, coming from the media business, I know that his perception or his opinion on net neutrality is basically going backwards. You know, he doesn't feel that we should have net neutrality, which enables companies like Netflix to not be charged for blocking the pipe from the ISPs, which, if you don't know who they are, they're the cable companies and also the cellular phone companies who are providing cable and also internet access. So by him going against net neutrality, that could be a big disaster for tech companies if his FCC person that he appoints goes against what John Wheeler did in this last administration.
Possibly something these tech, I'm sure they're bracing for this.
They are.
It's sure to come to a head. Next up, driverless cars.
Yes.
It seems like everyone is working on technology, testing technology. Is this something that consumers are driving in terms of demands, things they want, or is this something companies are sort of telling consumers what they want?
I think more of the latter. It's just really about the future and what technology companies are saying in terms of Steve Case is a great example. Steve Case, you know, he was one of the founders of AOL, and he just wrote a book called The Third Wave of Technology. Or it's called The Third Wave, and it's about the third wave of technology. If the first wave was technology starting in the 90s, or the internet starting in the 90s, we're now in the second wave where it's about social media and gadgets and, you know, using apps to connect people to real-life experiences.
The Internet of Things.
The Internet of Things, but the industrial internet and how the internet is going to affect cities and medicine and education, agriculture. All the businesses that we don't really see have been impacted by technology to its fullest potential yet has happened. And one of those is driverless cars. So whatever happens, and in terms of regulations, of course, this is definitely far off. However, right now, many cars have a feature of driverlessism or autonomous components, but that's really just for the driver to have more of a safety feature so that
kind of easing us into it.
Yeah, it's easing us into it.
What year do you think
like the Internet of Things is easing us into the future?
Yeah. What year do you think we'll actually hop into a fully self-driving car?
Well, I think there are going to be areas in the world or in the country where there are going to be like driverless car hubs. Like think of like the monorail in Disneyland and Disney World. But I don't see this happening for between 10 and 20 years for it actually happening.
And last but not least, every year you come out with a guide.
Yes.
This is your guide for 2017, the Zeitguide.
The Zeitguide, the guide to the Zeitgeist.
Tell us about what is in it and what you're predicting. What do you think will be big in 2017?
Well, the theme of the entire cultural almanac is about expecting the unexpected. And you have to be prepared for things that you don't normally expect. And we all know that there was a majority of, well, not a majority, but many Americans, did not, and people around the world did not expect for Donald Trump to win the presidential election.
Right.
However, it's not just politics. I mean, we saw in 9/11 that we had a huge terrorist attack. There could be a huge deluge in India that could, stunt and change a business's direction in the snap of fingers. So I think as the world keeps moving faster and faster and all these changes are happening, we have to be prepared for the unexpected. However, what this book does is talk about all the leading edge issues, whether it's technology, globalization, consumer behaviors and expectations, and workplace shifts, and how those issues are being discussed in every industry from media, retail, art, healthcare, science, finance, and
really
food.
Everything, yeah.
Food, yeah.
And where can people get the guide?
Zeitguide.com.
All right, Brad Grossman,
our website.
thank you so much for being here.
Thanks
Happy
so
New
much.
Year.
Happy New Year to you. That was fun.